But one interesting challenge I faced in the classroom was in China, in my first teaching job, when I realized that my approach of trying to make English fun was not actually working. I mean, the way I saw language was language is something which should be used, should be enjoyed, and that you learn in an easy, relaxed atmosphere. So I tried to create this atmosphere in the classroom. I tried to be friendly. We had some jokes. The activities were lively. But within a month or so, I had a strong feeling that the students liked it, but didn't really appreciate it. They enjoyed having fun. But I got the sense that they didn't really treat it as serious learning. And therefore it wasn't fully a class. And that therefore they kind of relegated my class to the periphery, to the edge. It wasn't seen as a core lesson because it wasn't serious enough. So my idea therefore was to try to make my lessons enjoyable but serious. So I made sure that each lesson had a very strong pedagogical framework to it. There was a structure, there was a clear element that the students were to learn and to practice in the class, and I made that very clear at the beginning of the lesson, during the lesson, and at the end of the lesson. And the activities I used included thinking activities, social activities, challenging activities. So it wasn't just frivolous, light-hearted activities. It became much more serious. And I noticed a subsequent change in the atmosphere and the relationship with my students. One thing I noticed, they stopped calling me Bob and started calling me Teacher Bob, which I thought was a very nice sign, and a degree of acceptance was happening there. So again, it was questioning your own approach when things are not quite working well, and not to blame the external factors, but to look for internal factors, to seek ways in which you can address a challenge by changing maybe the way that you relate to your students, the way you plan your lessons, and the way that you conduct the lessons. Another big challenge I faced in the classroom in my early days was when I was actually collecting in some student essay assignments. And I realized I'd asked them to write a story, and I realized that one story was incredibly personal, and the student was revealing lots of family problems, really sad issues within her family, and I read it as a cry for help. And I wondered what I should do, whether I should talk to the student, talk to the student's parents. There was obviously something that was setting alarm bells off in my mind, and I was very concerned about this student. Again, I talked to colleagues about it as I was getting in the habit of talking to other colleagues. And one colleague said, you need to talk to people in the counselling committee. He says the school has established a network, a system to provide support in these cases. This is too heavy for a single teacher to look after on their own. He says, go and talk to the counselling team. So I made an appointment and I talked to the head of the counselling unit. And he said, yes, we're aware of this student and we're aware of some of the problems that this student is facing, but it's good to get an update on these positions. He said, we'll work with the student and we'll make sure that she's properly counselled and supported, but thank you for bringing it to our attention. So again, that was a lesson I learned. Don't take it all upon yourself. Schools do have networks to manage these kind of situations, and it's far healthier for everybody that you do tap into these networks.